What's up, guys? In this video, I want to discuss with you the 10 most common mistakes people make when hiring personal injury lawyers, right? Because first of all, when a person needs a personal injury lawyer, they don't have the experience of like comparing apples to apples, because usually people don't get in repeated car wrecks. I mean, some of you do, but most people don't. And even if you did get into multiple car wrecks, every single car wreck is different than the other. So it's very hard to compare apples to apples. So there are a lot of mistakes that people make when hiring personal injury lawyers, and here are some. The first one is many people fail to investigate the personal injury lawyer's experience. And here's another thing that I've actually found is that, let's say that you hire a big firm, right? But then the actual lawyer that's handling your case doesn't have any experience, or maybe has a couple of years of experience. That's not good. It doesn't matter that one of the lawyers in that firm or several lawyers in that firm have a lot of experience when the lawyer that's actually trying your case or managing your case only has a couple of years of experience. It doesn't matter if another lawyer in that firm has a ton of experience, because you're not going to be working with that other lawyer. You're going to be working with that inexperienced lawyer. And so if you don't ask, like, which specific lawyer am I going to be dealing with, that's a huge mistake. Another mistake people make is they choose the lawyer based on cost alone. And we're in Atlanta, right? I have seen billboards of my 25% lawyer. And you may think to yourself, wow, that's great, right? He's the cheapest lawyer. But they're the cheapest lawyer for a reason. I mean, why would a person that is offering a high value product be the cheapest in the industry? There is something wrong. So do not choose a lawyer based on cost alone. But simultaneously, just because they're the most expensive, it doesn't mean that they're the actual best lawyer there is. So be very, very careful with that. At our firm, we promise that the client will get paid more money in their pocket, even when all the medical bills, case expenses, and legal fees are paid in full. We have the obligation to ensure that you get paid equal to or more than the legal fee. If your lawyer isn't making you that promise, then there is something wrong. If the injured person is getting less than the attorney, then there is something wrong, especially when the case settles pre-lawsuit. When a case is in litigation, then things are really out of the lawyer's hands in terms of the cost and all of that stuff. But if it settles pre-lawsuit, the lawyer should promise you that no matter what, the injured person is going to get equal to or more than the attorney. Number 3, I have talked to clients over the phone that hire another attorney, but they don't review any of that attorney's reviews. They don't do any research on the attorney. So what do? It's like, okay, who did you hire? Such and such. I look up that person and I see one-star review. Why would you hire that attorney, right? First of all, they don't have presence online. There isn't third-party verification of this person's services and competence. That's a problem. And the only review is a one-star review. Don't do that. Just because a person has a gazillion reviews doesn't necessarily make them a great attorney, but it does matter because it shows that the person actually cares about their reputation, and there is a vulnerability for that lawyer or law firm to put themselves out there and to do a good job, because frankly, no one wants to have full reviews. So not researching an attorney's reviews and testimonials is a big mistake. You definitely need to do that to ensure that you're hiring the right attorney. Number 4, not asking the attorney or the law firm about how you're going to communicate with me. How? Like, what is the process? What's the communication look like? Is it going to be solely via email? Is it going to be through text messaging? Is it going to be through phone calls? Like, asking the law firm, what is the mode of communication between me and the law firm? So for example, we know that most people like to communicate via text message. So we have a text messaging platform at the law firm that when you text a particular number, it comes to the entire team and you're promised a response, usually within minutes, but 100% of the time within 24 hours. Okay. So that is the method of communication for our law firm. But some people don't want to be texted. Some people want to be called. So we ensure that we understand what the preference of that particular client is, and we communicate with them the way they want to be communicated with, and not just the way that we use for the law firm. Number 5, most clients don't ask the question, what's the strategy for my case? Like, how are you going to get me the most amount of reimbursement for the injury that I sustained? Like, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it for me? You have to have this conversation with the attorney. And sometimes the amount of insurance that is available is a low amount. So for example, in the state of Georgia, there's only a $25,000 limit. That's it. That's the minimum limit. And most people drive around, right? They cause injuries and accidents that are much, much more severe than $25,000 can reimburse, right? So if that's the case with you, if God forbid you're injured to that extent, and you know that the defendant's insurance company only has $25,000, you have to discuss it with your attorney. What are you going to do for me? How are you going to try to maximize the amount of my recovery if we have this limitation? This is a conversation that you must have with your attorney. Number 6, not understanding the fee structure is a huge thing. Most people don't understand that, there are pre-suit percentages and there's post-suit percentages. Like, how much is the legal fee going to be paid at the pre-suit level? How much is the legal fee going to be at the post-suit level? And usually in the personal injury industry, there are 2 separate percentages. Sometimes there's even 3 tiers: pre-suit, post-suit, and verdict. Now, we don't charge any more money if the case goes to trial, because I think that's really a conflict of interest between the attorney and the client. So we only have these 2 tiers of pre-suit and post-suit. But you should also know what's not going to be done. Like, for example, appellate work. That's not part of the contingency fee. So you have to have a good understanding about the fee structure with the attorney that you're going to hire for your case. Number 7, if you don't have a personal connection with your attorney, that's a problem. If you only are talking with the paralegal, with the client care specialist, with the case manager, and the attorney never reaches out to you, that's a problem. You should have a personal connection with the attorney. Now, I understand when you call our law firm, for example, the Awad law firm, you're not going to get an attorney right away. You're going to get the person that answers the phone calls, the intake specialist. They're going to get your information. However, you should demand to talk with the attorney very early on in your case. I would say within 30 days. Okay. And you have that right. You have the right to talk with the attorney. Now, even if you want to talk to the attorney before you sign up, that's your right as well. But having a personal connection with the attorney is crucial. Here's one that is kind of iffy. Number 8, don't rush your decision. Now, you have to make a decision quickly, but don't do it in a rushed manner. For example, not the very first attorney that you call is the right attorney. All right. I would say within 24 hours, you should make your decision. You can do a lot of research within 24 hours. Certainly don't wait days before hiring an attorney, but don't rush it and say, okay, the first person that answers the phone, I'm going to hire. Make sure you do some vetting, you do some research, you read some client reviews. With enough education, you're going to make a good decision. Number 9, we're almost there, guys. You got to take into consideration the attorney's resources. Yes, I know that there are huge firms out there. That doesn't necessarily make them the best firms, but you also want to consider that if it's a one-man show or a firm that has 2 or 3 people, that's not a lot of resources for your case, right? So you got to take into consideration, does this person have multiple offices? Does he have a lot of staff? Do they have the resources to actually do a good job on my case? For example, at the Awad law firm, we have our intake team. We have our client care team that is pretty much a team that handholds the clients from beginning all the way to the end of their treatment. We have an insurance accountability team that actually drafts the demands and the counter demands to the insurance company. We have an evidence retrieval team that is responsible for handling all of the evidence, right? Which is the police report, the dash cam, the body cam, the tractor trailer cams, any surveillance video. That's evidence retrieval, right? And then we also have our legal team. So we have the resources that ensure that you're going to get competent and resourceful representation for your case. And number 10, overlooking the attorney's trial experience. Now, most cases resolve without a lawsuit being filed. True. I would say 70 to 75% of our cases resolve without a lawsuit being filed. But still, there's a significant minority, 25 to 30% of cases, still require a lawsuit. And even those cases resolve without a trial. Well, what about the cases that don't resolve without a trial? How has the attorney done on those cases? Have you asked this question? Because even though most cases settle, it is important, and the defense definitely knows which attorneys try cases and which attorneys don't. And for those that actually try cases, what kind of verdicts that attorney receives. And those are the 10 most common mistakes clients make when hiring a personal injury attorney. I hope this helps your decision-making process. If it has helped, please smash that like button and please consider subscribing for more personal injury content. If you want to see a really cool video, check out this video right here where we took an offer from $1,000 from the insurance adjuster to $250,000 pre-lawsuit and what we wrote them to make them pay every penny on the policy. Check it out.